So for the refuge vow, there are more extensive versions and more concise versions of that. And today we will have a concise version of the refuge vow, just pointing out the essence. More extensively, you can also find more material online. And now we just have a really short time. But so in terms of refuge and protection, so there is always an outer, inner, and a secret aspect. The outer aspect is our own body. On the inner level, there is our speech, and on the secret level is our mind. And when we take refuge, it is mainly the mind that needs to be protected. So the mind really goes for refuge. When we go for refuge, often we speak about the outer three jewels, But what's more important to understand is the inner three jewels, how these three jewels are within yourself. And so to put that into simple terms, it is written very in simple terms on a refuge card that you will receive later. So for the Buddha it says, I take refuge in wisdom, the heart essence of the Buddha. So that is really the Buddha we take refuge in, is our own wisdom. And wisdom is our pure mind. The Buddha said, completely tame your own mind. So it's really you who has to protect yourself, your mind. You need to protect your mind through wisdom. And with wisdom, you understand that I do not want to suffer. I need a refuge that protects me from suffering. So with wisdom, you find a way to become protected from suffering. As you mentioned before, we also visualize the Hung syllable which we print on clothing, for example, and so on, to protect our mind, essentially. So right now, the essence of our mind, or what we find, is a self. But when you look at the nature of that, then there is nothing but space. And you see the ultimate truth where self and other do not exist. You see that with your inner wisdom, the inner Buddha. And then it says, I take refuge in love and compassion, the heart essence of the Dharma. In brief, the antidote to self-grasping is love. We need to cultivate love. If you only even have the slightest love, you will experience happiness. That is why we pray for sentient beings to be happy and have the causes of happiness. The only cause of happiness for all beings in the three realms is love. So that is the actual Dharma that you take refuge in. It is your own love and compassion. So love has to protect your mind. And with mindfulness, with wisdom, you recognize that. For example, if there are two companions, two friends, who love each other and who are able to be patient with each other, they will be happy. It's just the nature of things. So the Buddha you take refuge in is your own wisdom. The essence of the Dharma is your own love and compassion. And then for the sangha, I take refuge in virtuous friends, the heart essence of companions. So it is the sangha who shows us the Dharma. There are endless Dharma teachings. We speak about 84,000 different Dharma teachings. There are so many different antidotes because there are so many sentient beings. And understanding the essence of the Dharma really depends on a teacher. We need a teacher. Just like a little child first needs its mother, then it needs school teachers, and later one needs the country that protects its people. So we need some kind of protection. And of the different kinds of protection, our teachers are extremely precious because they teach us everything about the Dharma. So again, with wisdom, you are able to cultivate love and compassion and practice patience, and then also are able to rely on a teacher in both the mundane sense and the spiritual sense.
개개의 도지적으로 개개시 개개 제보다 상제리 그 제보까지는 심긴 탐지라 되어다 되고래 능이도 잘 거래 뒤로한테 콜어요래 대들이 개개 제보한테 되게 강하거든 득바지 않으면서 개가 벌써 속바지시래 오늘 득바는 강라 개와는 강라데 다야 좋아지나 니는 다 이노 이집트에 빵을 이노 이집트에 좋아대 득바리 득바데 다다 이는 판 오바다가지 꼬라장 동타랑 다다랑 철누고 그러지 그래 득바데 득바지 않으면서 시 니는 노바다 르가 있으고네 노바 동진 용용기대 노바 마다한시 야 보통 가리 비싸다 대서 신을 정말 피고서 로드종을 넣으시 내가 개와 보통 줘봤지 대지 가요래들은 설마 좀 말이지 같이 대화를 가서 비몽노반 담는 정도래 누가 진짜 못하는 갖고 샘그 피고 something 딜람 지게 차로르지 랑그 샘의 용서들 또 샘은 핀샘도 좀 성종 네 그들이 럭차리지 오 농샘도 빵고 어디 내가 뭐 농샘 빵고 어디 내가 앞으로 또 핀샘 삼을 피고 서 딜로 되면 나왔지 이제 대들이 대는 랑그 샘도 양도 들어들이 랑그 샘도 비 짱마 차그리지 샘도 짱마나지 샘 짱마 차중들이 다진 이메와 하고 그래서 샘 나가는 차는 늘 상제 때문에 상제지 바데 니지 좀 미소 샘고대로 무슨 짱마지 가봐 자다 로고지그리지 대는지 파미세처럼 설랑하디 링콩을 파피세처럼 대화랑을 토고요 되리 랑의 샘도 저 상제 때 많이 송
So I take refuge in virtuous friends, the heart essence of companions. So these are all of our teachers, and the greatest of all teachers is the Buddha. And why is he the greatest of all teachers? It is because his aspiration is, may all sentient beings have happiness, and may they all be free from suffering. This is what makes him great. Also in our refuge card, and it says, do not commit any wrong, perfectly practice virtue. So what is wrong and what is virtue, if you were to ask that question? And that is on the other side of our refuge card. So it says, when harm to others and its cause are abandoned, the vows of personal liberation are complete. So what is wrong is to harm others. That is wrong, this card here is speaking about. And when you harm others, then the harm will always come around because self and others don't exist. So it goes around in circles. If you harm others, you're essentially harming yourself. And so therefore, when we take refuge, we are instructed to try not to harm others with body, speech, and mind. And then perfectly practice virtue. It says here, when help to others and its cause are accomplished, the vows of bodhisattvas are complete. So that is virtue. That is to practice virtues, to benefit others as much as you can. And so when it comes to benefiting others, it's actually not the outer body and speech that are most important, but it's the mind. On the outer level, it will, of course, be difficult to always benefit everyone and never harm anyone, even if that's what you want. But in your mind, you should always have the wish to benefit others. And so this is the Buddha's teachings. It again says in our refuge card, completely tame your own mind. This is the Buddha's teachings. So taming your own mind means to cultivate an altruistic mind. If you just have that, it is actually sufficient. So have an altruistic mind and abandon a wish to harm others, abandon harming others, and never separate from the wish to benefit others. So this is how you tame your own mind. This is how you purify your own mind so it becomes pure like water. And when a mind has become completely purified, you recognize that self and others do not exist separately because the mind is just like space, all pervasive. So this is the essence of the Buddha's teachings. It is ultimately to realize the nature of the mind where self and others do not exist separately. For example, if you have 100 phones, they are all powered by the same electricity. And so for this reason, because there is really no separation between self and others, if you send out a negativity, again, a negative state of mind toward others, then that is what will come back to you. And if you send out altruism towards others, then happiness will come back to you. So this is the Buddha's teachings.
사제 때봐 이나 사게 가래 사제 때봐리더라 니는 니끼 다낭도는 아동상지 라그 셈지 삼지했다 말은 비세도 장마차도 세도 장마차도 다지 니메와 셈지기 뭐 대하고서는 들이 저거 찍장요 말이 들이 제제 그냥 제요 제요 말이 제들은 차로도 제레디 저들 라리지 그래 들이 라시 바들이 중매가 중탑 제들어 라시리 들이 내주 당상 중에 세도 딱 봐서 안 돼요라 들이 참아 라리지 오 세븐이 찍장 말이 득바라다 그래 득바라데 세면이 샘때 상제레디 샘때 샘디 얘네 상제지랑 이 하고서는 딱 내가 로레데 득바라다 소바까지 고시에 당을 하자 그래지 제 로버를 들어가리면서 그 샘이 이래 쏘아요 말이지 들이 참아 라리지 다 상하게 좋아 담겨서 나와 담게 라리지 잡아 담게 나리 들이 참아 상제지 상하시 감래지 생각 무슨 르비아 요래 네 동담 대만은 통소나 들이 참아시 가면 통구요래 대만을 본 거는 이제 시에게 요래 들이 잡던데 도도 장장 쳐도 다디 편하니가 반응 상황이 되어 되래지
And so in the refuge card, it says this is the Buddha's teachings. So again, also on the refuge card, it then says, when one is skilled in a pure perception of the universe and all beings, the vows of secret mantra are complete. When you never separate from love, your mind becomes very pure. When the mind becomes very pure, you will realize that there are no self and others, that we all have one mind. When you understand that, you will also naturally understand that there are no demons. That question arose yesterday about demons. There really are no demons. There is not a single demon that really exists. We can say that an ice block is a demon and water is like a god. And God here means flawless. So having a pure perception of the universe and all beings means that if you have love always for all beings, you will see all beings as the deity. For example, when you look at a scorpion, even the mind of a scorpion is a Buddha. It has the same mind. All beings are primordially Buddhas. And so why does the scorpion then appear in this dreadful form? It is because it is said a scorpion, for instance, is a natural manifestation of anger, of hatred. However, this is only a temporary state. Fundamentally, this is not the scorpion's true nature. The scorpion also possesses Buddha nature. So when you really understand the vajrayana, you will begin to perceive all appearances as the deity, and you will hear all sounds as the mantra. Wherever you go will be a pure land. Whoever you meet will be a deity. When you see the ultimate truth, everything really becomes a pure land. Milarepa also taught on that in the 100,000 songs of Milarepa that we often mention. So everything, all of that, in essence, is contained in the refuge card.
아니 나 잡기 도마 탑처리가 나게 잡기 도마 쉬어디 가리거리 오 나게 잡기 도마 쉬고르디 장자를 아니 이가 잡고르지 미 sepji 답이 잡고르지 sepji 답이 잡고 째와 고르지 내가 견딘 바래 그러니 다 네 총총지는 그만 잡기 도마 쉬는데 때기로 다 등상들 때가면 고주 도로 띠로다 같이 따가면 이랬더니 내 같이 하는데 때기로 내는 되니 찍바래 내일은 나 견딘 바이지 나 고토체적 말이지 내 이는 너 봤다는 거 말이지 나 평생 공에 상으로 같이 거래지 내가 가서 제면 생고 찌하고 그래 나 견딘 바이는 찌하고 그래 세지 당시에 찌하고 그래서 제시지 이제 다야 들이 들이는 피하려 그러잖아.
So once you have taken the refuge vow, then you have this awareness, I have now taken the refuge vow. And what does that mean? It means I must protect myself and also others. And how can I do that? In order to protect myself and others, I must give rise to love. Now that I have taken the refuge vow, I have become a sangha. So there is this small pin here that in the past, Rinpoche said I would always give that to everyone who's receiving the refuge vow. That pin also contains the liberation by seeing mantra. Now we don't really pass that out much anymore, and even if I pass it out, often people don't really wear it anyways. But anyways, we only have a few left, and so today I'm passing those out again. And the mantra and what is printed on the T-shirt and so on, it is all the same liberation mantra. And you wear that close to you as a reminder, I am a sangha. I must not get angry at others. I must not harm others. I must have a wish to benefit others. I must help others. I must give love to others. So being a sangha in essence means I must have love for all sentient beings. So this little pin that you will receive is a reminder of this.
자다가 아마게더니 속티 주고 잘라만 자다는 무슨 고만은 요때리 이 아마게 가리 까지는들이 자다 군을 남겨서 들이 로주요래 속티 주고 잘라만 콜로요라 네 자다가 막이 아마라게 가리 싸움하잖니 아마 뭐게 잘해 자고 그 무슨 남겨 말이대 제 로주테리 이 특히 자시는 말 아마게 자다 공도 아마게 자다 나가야지. 근데 가동지 토로지 마. 가동지 그런 것도 자다 들이 자고 싶은 패송 타디 들이 자다 로종하더니 가동지 참는 용탈 되는 가동지 참는 자다 생시 그러지 자다 그더니 가동지 남겨래 다다된 순간 공부 주고 자나마 되는데 로지테레 되디 사사 조금 거 봐다 좋을 거 봐. 내요래 들이 라니 속디만 되다 네 내면은 무슨 처음이래 사자를 계시지래 옛날에는 공지 동사도 포과된 데는 무슨 지복세 나도 보통 일이잖아만 네 라니 속디만 로 되게돼 근데 망도 로는 되다네 어떤 네 포과되라는 게 도통 포과도 빠토는데 통한 무슨 롱송 가리가 된다는 거 보는지 뭐 다티 공부선 하고 또 비상지 공상적인 대화를 들으면서 빠디야 그 공부 받았던데 지야리 같이 온데 그때 도민이 말이라고요. 대통령 배 꼭가래다다 라마타요 거봐 지야리 빠는데 그래서 말이라고요. 그래서 정말 속본데 풍부지는 네 강과도만도 나는 샘들 좋아요 말이 말해서 샘시야요 말이 샘시야면들이 주권을 놓고 또 나만한테 저런 거래 대다 그러더니 다다 빠디지라 tan가도 문이래 상나들이 다다 저기 너무 tan가게 송주고요 라마는 거 송주 말에 대도 저를 한가 고통 독대인 담지 문이래 상나 문이 말이서 저기 조고르시 고치는 풍부는 문이 강파도만은 풍부는 문이 말이 라마한테 거빠노 라마는 문이래 저기는 돈 라마는 문이에서 라마는 문이 톡들이 대 문이를 제발로 뭐 대고도 샘시야 말이 죽고 따도 나팔 대요리 제대 말을 배송요리 고 샘시야 요 말이지 나팔을 냠디고 호스 조나가 가르쳐도 저도 가디 콜이 치우는 그래서 왔다는 거 생이 좀 차트 그래서 말을 배송요리 대더니다 대사바더니 나더니 그렇지 않으서 해야지 대답 아침 모레 되는
So then there is an image of the Lhasa Chowo, a statue that was it goes back to the time of Gar Dongzhen. Gar Dongzhen was a minister who brought the Chinese princess to Tibet, and when she came to Tibet, she brought a few gifts of dowry with her, such as a representation of enlightened body, which was this Chowo statue. And then also she brought the Gyanama prayer wheel. Apparently that was given by her mother. and then offered to the king, but really was kept by Gar Dongzhen eventually, because after the king had passed away, so she was the king's wife, and after the king had passed away,
she, the queen, then stays in Gar Dongzhen's home for 15 years until her own death.
And she gave him the Gyanama prayer wheel, and that prayer wheel is actually now installed at Gar Monastery at the present day. So that's that image, and then there is the 37 Bodhisattva practices which you will receive. And at the end of the little booklet, there is a picture of the practice cave of the author who wrote the 37 practices, Ngulcho Tome, who was a Sakya master. And so when I was young and I read the 37 Bodhisattva practices many times, I had memorized it. I was still not moved to tears as much as when I saw that picture of that cave. When I saw the picture of that cave, it really moved me to tears. And why? It was really the blessings of this great Bodhisattva who wrote this text and who had practiced there. I made a connection to his great love, and that is what I felt. And that is why I really wanted to add this particular image into to that book. So that's an image of the practice cave of Ngulcho Tome. And then in the middle of there, we drew a picture of Ngulcho Tome. And so it's not a real photograph, obviously, it's an image drawn. And so because it's not a real photograph, some people may say that, oh, that's not really Ngulcho Tome. But actually, to think that way is really very stupid, actually, because we think that just because it's written, that's not what it really is. Or we see a tanka and we say, that's not really the deity, or that's not really the Lama. Actually, what we are looking at is just a body. The body is just like an empty house. And what's more important is the mind. The mind will never change or never die. Like Milarepa also said before he left his body, that the mind cannot die. The mind continues on as the Dharmakaya, or may manifest as Sambhogakaya or Nirmanakaya. So all these different images, these photographs or things we see on a tanka, different paintings, they are the real deity or the real guru. And if you recognize that, there actually have been stories of, for example, Tara images giving teachings to Lama. There are many stories like that, but those images then begin to speak to one. So all of these representations of enlightened body, speech, and mind should be really seen as the actual Buddha, the actual deity. If one thinks that that's not the real thing, then one really focuses only on the physical body. And again, the physical body is just like an empty house. It really has no substance. And the same actually goes also for the live stream or the online or recording. That's also the real Lama, what you see on the screen. Because the actual Lama is the Lama's enlightened mind. And that mind can never die. Before Milarepa left his body, he said to his disciples, I cannot die, and I will continue to pervade the 5 elements like space, all pervasive like space. Whoever supplicates me with trust, I will be with them, inseparable from their mind. So that is also very important. And so because this image of Ngulcho Tome's practice cave has a lot of blessings, I wanted to add that to the 37 Bodhisattva practices booklet. And so we made a new print of that, and I would like to offer that to you today as a gift.
janam kholo di dina tangro di ni choba chose tam ji ta de monam ja nang yo re pena ta de janama de ta chitu yin she sa jela de ko go yo re ta de ri ko chi de cho yo ma re mu je de jakab ma ku landri ma ku chen bo yo ga go pe yo re ga go pe khom ge to wa na re song mu sing jin la gong pa de nya do 고파 체모도 정정도데 옛날 추초 니시 잡질라 추도 니리레 가시니 고만들이 다 추도 앙당보레 소르페 저 고문 청압지 지향니 받아야 요지 대다 시요레 디 자카케 켈리뇨레 대다오 레데.
And then also you will have a little piece of your hair clipped, and your hair will go into this little pouch. And then at some point, all the hair will be sent to Tibet to the prayer wheel. We just mentioned the Gyanama prayer wheel. And once the hair reaches there, the monks there make prayers over the different hairs that we have accumulated continuously by spinning the prayer wheel 24 hours a day, non-stop. There's always a monk there spinning the prayer wheel. It never comes, it never goes, it never is still. It always turns. And that's really very special. In the past, there was actually a Chinese official, a general, who came to visit Garchen Monastery one time, and he really praised the monastery for that prayer wheel. He said that in this province of Qinghai, there are around 700 monasteries, large and small, but this is the only one that actually engages in a virtuous activity all the time, 24 hours, by spinning that prayer wheel. And that is why he said, you are really the best monastery. And he promised to
make a monetary gift of 500,000 yen to the monastery.
So this prayer wheel was even recognized by the country.
상제 마탑자 받아 잡을 놓아 이제 이나가 탑이데요. 잡을 놓 제대 상마제 받아 잡을 놓아 이제.
디치보 제대 제거라.
레레.
디치보라.
탑이면 돼. 상제죠 소소.
Okay. So then next we come to repeating the refuge vow. And so Rinpoche would like us to repeat that prayer we have in the yellow prayer book. And so after we have repeated that, also think that I'm going for refuge until I attain enlightenment. And then Rinpoche will say, Tap which means this is the method. And in response to that, we will say Lexo or excellent.
오 상제 주당 초지 조남라 장첩바르드 다네 잡선지 낙게 짐소 짐비 수남지 로라 빈서 상제 르바쇼.
Then please repeat. Sorry, that's on page number 4. On page number 4 in the yellow prayer book. Yeah. Okay. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly by the merit of generosity and the other perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. So then next Rinpoche will say Tap which means this is the method. And so in that moment, now think that now I am receiving the refuge vow. And then in response to that, say Lexo, which means excellent. And then after that, you can come up one by one and you will have your hair clipped. So Rinpoche said that he himself can't really clip the hair, but Khenpo Tenzin will help with that. So please come up and then you will receive your various gifts.
다른 장류 통마 토리 정도 지와 체력 관리 가능성은 탁탁된 자공도 마저가 받들고 소소 그다 보자 그래 돼. 들고 소소는 다 보자 그래 돼. 내가 토리 좀 대화당. 들 탁탁 사지 마 탁탁도 토리 좀 대화라 롱주 그래 다 대화시는 돼.
And so for the benefits of taking refuge, once you have taken the refuge vow, from this day onward, in all future lifetimes, wherever you go, the three jewels will protect you until the ice block of the mind has completely melted. Temporarily, you will always take birth in the three higher realms, and ultimately you will attain enlightenment. And until you attain enlightenment, you will always enjoy the happiness of the higher realms. So these are the benefits in brief.
yarwa kunje jiso lopjor te zangbo ju ba yongso zo ji jing chim ju ba zhen mi yong da ba da de me nyam ju mi ju ba sho.
Following all the victorious ones, may I train, bringing excellent conduct to complete perfection and engage in wholly pure, flawless discipline that never lapses and is free from faults.
jiwangde dang cerab tamje de kun chosunbo namyang menjar hing chusir solang pangma mi ba yi nyang top chimbu ro dong se ba sho.
In this and all future lives, may I never be separated from the three jewels. For the sake of the Dharma, may I even give away my life and work for the benefit of beings with great determination.
산촉심조 rinpoche 마지 빠나 지절직 지빠 냠바 미바양 공내 공드 배와쇼.
May bodhicitta, the precious and supreme mind, arise in whom it has not yet arisen. Where it has arisen, may it not decline, but ever increase, higher and higher.
제동 체럽 탐제드 남민저 공른진지 띵반 초다 멈저싱 빠르딘 라미진진쇼.
In this and all future lives, may I never be separated from the supreme teachings of the unequaled Drikungpa Rinchen, and may glorious gurus take me into their care.
제와 꿈도 양다람마당 달미 추제 빨라 롱조쟁 사당 남지용 띠랍조네 dorji changge gongpang yer tosho.
In all rebirths, may I never be separated from authentic gurus. May I enjoy the glories of the Dharma, and having fully perfected the qualities of the bhumis and paths, may I swiftly attain the state of Vajradhara.
戒行戒瓦达呢，他们戒的，人上路上啊，戒没法当，人戒戒经拉嘛拉规定，把地拉嘛他们出拉呢说。
In this and all my future lives, may I be born in a good family, be endowed with clear intellect, be free from pride, be greatly compassionate and devoted to the Guru. May my samaya with the glorious Guru remain firm.
工商多见强气民切长，人机早为了嘛人切记，若为中东梦浪刚大吧，对大他们今日的就是些。
Whatever aspiration prayers have been made for the sake of sentient beings, from the great Samantabhadra Vajradhara on down to the kind root gurus, may they all be swiftly accomplished.
Your 1,000 arms are the 1,000 wheel-turning kings. Your 1,000 eyes are the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon. Your love is boundless like space. I supplicate the Bodhisattva Chenrezig.
Joy.